Never be too careful. Make sure you use enough. I think we're ready.
Ready.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show.
Show? What's our name?
Did we pick a name?
No, they did.
Do you guys know what our name is? Are you ready?
So ready.
Guys, we had some amazing suggestions, but we could only have one name, so it came down to boom, Truth to Youth. That's our name that you guys chose for us. Actually, only one of them chose for us. Who was it?
Kira Gustafson. Congratulations.
That is a big shout out to you. I'm super pumped for this name. I think it's fantastic. I think it captures exactly what we're trying to do here, and that's bring the truth to the youth.
Yeah.
So that's literally what it's called.
Yep. We'll get you your prize eventually. We'll be in contact.
Like tonight.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You know what? There's going to be more challenges and more prizes coming up, like every week at least. So, what should we do next?
Should we do our quarantine survival kit?
That seems pretty relevant.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home these days. Quarantine is the word being thrown around. And in order to survive 14 days of isolation, you got to be prepped. So we put together a package of, hey, what is the most useful stuff that can get you through 14 days? Number one.
Snacks.
What kind of goodies do we got in there?
We've got some chips,
Yes.
cheesies, we got some juice boxes,
Good. Just the essentials.
chocolate,
Yeah.
all the essentials.
This is only a portion of it. We could only fit so much in our survival kit. Right. Obviously, we have way more snacks in it because it's
Gotta
a long
stock up.
time. Second, extra large foaming hand sanitizer.
Yeah, very
I'll
important.
use some again. Touched a lot of things already. Next, and as a bonus, the travel edition.
size.
All right.
Oh, that sounds gross.
What else we got in here? This.
Social media.
Guys, you have to have something to do. Check us out. Social media, YouTube, obviously, that's where you're watching right now. Instagram, Facebook, and you know what? By the time you're watching this, we might even have TikTok up.
Yeah, who knows? Make sure you subscribe, follow us, tell your friends to.
Your parent? Nah.
Parents, well.
It's up to you. And I think we got one more thing in here, Lauren. What do you?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the honors?
This is the essential one. It's a big ticket item right now. Some toilet paper. We have an industrial roll. Yeah, you'll probably need it.
Thanks, Lauren.
Not you.
Gross. And of course, our all-natural organic survival basket that can last at least 2 weeks.
At least. What do you think this is made of?
Is wicker a mineral?
I have no idea.
Anyways, guys, that's what we thought of. I know you guys have thought of more stuff. This actually made a huge mess on our table. We could probably sanitize it. What do you put in your quarantine survival package?
Yeah, let us know. We want to know what we missed. Other stuff that you like.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a time for likes, Lauren.
Right.
It's
Essentials.
Not unique.
What are
Only
your essentials?
The essentials. Social media.
Yeah, social media for sure.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Awesome. Send us your suggestions, and the best suggestion is going to be our next prize winner.
Yeah.
At this point, we still only know about virtual Starbucks gift cards. Well, who doesn't like Starbucks? Why do we even need to add a different prize?
That's true.
We might, though. Give
We'll
it
see.
time.
If you have ideas of virtual gift cards we could send you.
Then
Let
send
us
it
know.
to us. Sample package. That would be all right. You know, we should probably introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
We kind of missed that part, hey?
Yeah, we did.
Cool. In case you don't know, or in case you forgot, because it's been way too long since we've seen each other. My name's Michael. This is...
I'm Lauren.
And we are... Youth Fest.
Youth
We're
pastors.
supposed to say it at the same time.
I wasn't sure what you were going for.
It was on the fly. That's okay.
That's okay.
GPAC Church is our church. Those watching, some of you are youth, some of you, we might not even know who you are, so let us know who you are. You know a little bit about who we are, and you're going to keep learning about us from time to time. Just, it'll come out. Cool.
Yep. Sweet.
Well, let's move on. Truth to youth, obviously, that involves the truth. We believe the Bible is where truth is found. Every segment, that's what we're calling it. Every episode of Truth to Youth, we're going to have a devotional.
We're starting Hebrews devotional. So we're really excited. We're going to be going to the YouVersion Bible app. We're going to be doing one chapter of Hebrews every day, I think for the next 13 days. So we're going to post a link that you can join us on our devotional on that app. So all you need is some sort of device that hooks up to the internet, and the link, we'll post the link below.
On those.
Yeah. We'll post the link on all of our social media. Join us there. It's going to be starting on Wednesday. I guess this comes out on Tuesday. Yeah. So it's going to be starting tomorrow. By the time you see this, it'll be tomorrow. And then for the next 13 days. So we're stoked about that.
Yeah. And we're just, you're going to read a chapter every day. We're going to read a chapter every day. And when we're on here, we're just going to point out some things that we found really valuable to us.
Yeah.
So first of all, near the end of the book, you're going to have to wait for a couple of days before you get there. But there's this passage in Hebrews that says, let us not stop meeting together. Now, when the author of Hebrews wrote that, he probably had no idea of the state our world would be in currently, which is remarkable, just the way that the Spirit works. And a passage like that can speak to us now. We can't meet in our building. That's why we've started this show. But we can still meet through technology, through our social media, through this digital age that we live in, and how beautiful that is, that we don't have to stop meeting together. That's why we chose Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 1 starts with an incredible opening introduction of who Jesus is. Jesus is the bringer of truth. In verse 3, it says, the Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being. If we want to know who God is, find out who Jesus is. And this book has a ton to say about who Jesus is. He's sustaining all things by his powerful word. After he had provided purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the majesty in heaven. There's a lot of purification going around today, and most of it involves sanitizing. How more important it is that even in the midst of this physical, germ-ridden world that needs purifying, there's still our inner that needs to be purified as well. Our souls, the removal of sins. And that's only the work of Jesus. No matter how much you use sanitizer, please use it. Please use both sanitizer and Jesus. Anyways, that's just an opener for you guys. Chapter a day. We're going to be tracking with you. I think I need a break.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. We're going to break for a little commercial.
Are you stuck at home for 14 days with nothing to do? Trying to find something to read, but you've gone through all these books 1,000 times?
There's just nothing to read.
Well, do we have a solution for you? Don't read a book, read your phone and the YouVersion Bible app.
I just still don't get this. What does this mean?
Oh, having a hard time understanding the Bible? We can help with that too. Find the Bible Project on YouTube to help explain what the different books of the Bible are trying to teach.
And that's what the letter of the Hebrews is all about.
I finally get it. Thanks, Bible Project.
Hey, welcome back. This is going to be the segment of our show where we invite our guest speaker to join us. I think this actually might be one of my favorite segments we do. I'm really excited about it. Lauren, who do we have joining us?
We have Shalise Cowie joining us today. We're so stoked. Why don't you come on in, Shalise?
Woo!
So pathetic.
Great, Shalice, welcome here.
Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure.
Yeah, okay, Shalice, we have a few questions for you before we start. Who are you?
So I'm Shalice. I am 20 years old and I work at an optometrist clinic. And I don't do a lot, I just work and sleep. So that's pretty much all I know.
Fantastic. Another thing that you guys might notice is our background is a little different. Now, our guest gets to choose their own background. Shalice, why the frog?
Because he's cute and he's looking two different directions. And he kind of just looks confused. It's kind of my last brain cell right now. It's him. He lives in my head. Sorry, that was weird. Okay. But yes, he's cute. That's mostly what I picked.
All right, cool. Okay, we'll just jump to the next question then. What are 3 things that you cannot live without?
Okay. Milk. I really love milk.
And when you say milk, you mean
Like drinking milk. We
Okay,
go through a lot of milk.
so like exclusively the beverage.
Just the beverage, not like milk products. Like I do love cheese, but I can like kind of live without cheese.
Okay, just clarify.
Yes. My cat. He's my son. His name's Nico. I love him. And just food in general, I guess. You can't really live without food. And I like to eat.
Okay.
So, does like isolation change your 3 things? Would you add anything, take it out?
Right now, milk is fine, but I feel like maybe in the near future it might be a little bit harder to get milk, and I'm just gonna have to be sad and drink water like a healthy person. Which is fine. We love the fact that we get good water. Not complaining. Nico's fine. He's healthy and just as annoying as ever, so I think we'll be cool. And food, I'm sure we'll be fine. We don't need to go and panic buy. One guy bought like 27 balls of salad dressing. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Yeah. It was even good. It was good.
I've heard a lot of weird ones. That's probably the weirdest one I've heard.
Yeah. So I think I'm good. Isolation is not dampened me.
That's good to hear. Shalice, you're actually here to talk about mental health. Why is this such an important topic to you?
So, mental health is something that has affected me my entire life. And when I was kind of growing up, I didn't always feel like people were well educated about it, especially in the church. So I didn't necessarily feel the kind of support that I think we should be giving youth that have struggles with mental illness. So I had heard a few people be really open about it, and it kind of made me want to open up about it as well, because I think the best way to get it out there and have an understanding is to talk about it.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being here. And do you mind just sharing your story with us?
So I was very tired all the time. I didn't do a lot. I mostly, I would go to school and just be exhausted the entire time, and then I would come home and I wouldn't do anything. I would literally just sit in my room, and I would, just for hours, I would just sit there and be sad and tired. And then it started coming out more in anxious ways too, which there's a lot of different ways that people deal with anxiety and deal with fear, and mine was through anger. So I became very angry about little things that would happen. Anyone that tried to talk to me, when my parents would try to talk to me, I thought they were, my brain was just on defense mode. I felt like everyone was out to get me. Probably the worst point that I was at during all of this, I was just so paranoid that I didn't even trust my parents. I felt like everything they were saying was just, they were trying to get inside my head and manipulate me, because I had experienced that so much growing up from the girls that would pick on me, because that's how girls fight. We try to get inside each other's heads and just get right into the insecurities and kind of blow them up. And so I thought that everyone was out to get me. So I just would yell all the time. I took a lot of it out on my brother, because he's very quiet, and so it was really easy for me. If he would do something that annoyed me, I would just go at him. And it really messed up our relationship for a while. And yeah, it was just really not good. And my parents almost didn't even know what to do with me, because I was either just like not eating, not sleeping, just being there as a person, or I was just like freaking out because I felt like I had to protect myself from everybody. And throughout this time, like, I didn't even want to be going to church or anything like that. Like, I knew that God was there. I never doubted that he was real. But I just kind of was like, what's the point? Like, I don't trust other Christians. I don't want to really be a part of that. Like, I believe in God, but at this point, like, it was kind of just whatever. So eventually my parents were like, okay, something is wrong. We need to get this looked at. So they took me to a doctor, and he was like, no, made me fill out this little survey. I got diagnosed with depression when I was 13 and generalized anxiety disorder when I was 14, and was put on medication, which did help a lot, and I'm still on it. I probably will be for the majority of my life, just to help keep everything a little bit chiller. That's a word. So it definitely did help, but there was just something, like, I just was so unhappy. I just hated myself. I hated the people around me. I didn't trust anybody, and just really felt alone. And it causes a lot of harmful tendencies, you know, like I wouldn't eat, and, you know, it eventually just got up to the point where I didn't even want to be alive anymore, and I was extremely suicidal when I was in junior high, to the point where my parents wouldn't leave me home by myself because they were scared that I would do something. And my parents would always be like, you need to trust in God or whatever, but at this point I was just like, whatever, that's stupid, like, there's no point. And I don't even know, just, I remember one night I was just really upset, and, you know, I just obsessing about being dead, you know, like, I would obsess about ways to kill myself, and I just felt this voice, and just this voice in my head just kind of being like, okay, like, why, like, this isn't how you need to live, like, you feel like you're alone, but you're really not. And so I decided to kind of give it one more shot. So I found a really good youth group to go to, and met some really nice Christian friends, and kind of reconnected with some girls that had grown up in my church that we never really had a chance to connect. And having Christian friends, like, lifting me up and stuff really made me feel like God was telling me, see, like, there are other people that are going to lift you up, and lift you up in healthy spiritual ways, and lead you to me as a way of coping. And that was really all I ever wanted all growing up. I just wanted a friend to kind of be there and help me and reassure me.
I think there's a lot of us that have experienced that too, right?
And I think it's hard when, as a Christian, if you can't find that in Christian communities, it kind of, it's just really upsetting, I guess. Like, it's kind of, you just feel kind of let down, because we're told that we need to be loving and accepting. So when you can't find that, it's kind of like, well, if I can't even find that in my own church family, like, where am I really going to find that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, but it did really help. I got through high school, I, you know, graduated, and everything was going really well there. I had a really bad relapse the year after I graduated high school, that fall, just trying to figure out kind of what I was going to be doing with my life, feeling the pressure of that. And I just, had a really other bad kind of depressive bout. I just felt like I had taken all my lifeguarding stuff, but I just didn't feel comfortable being a lifeguard, so I felt like I kind of failed my family that way, because they were really pushing for it, and couldn't figure out if I wanted to go to school, if I wanted to work, or what. And so I was at a really big low again, and just was like, what's the point? When you have mental illness, you wake up each day absolutely exhausted. You do your thing, you just hate it, you hate the fact that you have to just be doing anything, you're so exhausted, and just nothing has a point. You go to bed that night exhausted, and then you wake up, and all you think is like, I'm gonna have to do this the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and so you just see like no point. You're kind of just like, this is stupid, like, why am I gonna be doing this? So then, it got to the point where I was extremely suicidal again, and I did make an attempt on my own life. And it wasn't going the way that I expected it to. It wasn't really working out the way I wanted. I was getting so frustrated. I remember I was crying in my room. It was like 3 a.m. I was just so mad, and I just felt, again, like the first time I kind of going through this, I just felt this voice like, no, like, this isn't what I want from you. I have something planned for you. You're going to make a difference. So I just remember kind of like calming down and being like, okay. And then I went to bed, which was totally bizarre. And then I told my parents about it the next day, and we discussed it as a family, and they were like, really, you just need to rely on God. Like, this is the Christian cliche, but that is what you need to be doing with this. So I reconnected. I have 3 really good Christian friends that I'm in contact with today. And they helped me out a lot. They would lift me up, they would ask me questions about it, they would check in on me and make sure I was doing well. Yeah, if I was having a hard time, I refer to it as the big sad whenever I'm going through a depressive bout, because it's easier to just make fun of it than to kind of deal with it. So yeah, I would just be like, hey, like I'm really going through the big sad, and they would, you know, like they would pray for me, they would give me verses to read, they would really talk to me about that. And then I went to Cape and Ray in England last year. Yes. I had to think about that. I don't even know what year is it. So, and just having that change of pace, finding out there's more to the world than just sexmen, was absolutely incredible. I made some really good friends there, and I changed a lot while I was there. I would Skype my parents, and they would be like, "You seem a lot happier than you've been, basically, for the last 7 years." And even the people there, like by the end of it was there for 6 months, by the end of it, people that had known me since kind of the very beginning that I was close with, they were like, "No, like you've changed a lot. You're a lot happier, you have more energy, and you seem more like you've kind of found a purpose instead of just being mentally ill and being that person."
Right.
And that was awesome. And yeah, I met one girl there that is my best friend. We're super close. There's a 7-hour time difference. She lives in Germany, so that makes it a little bit hard. But I've never been blessed with a friend that so much cared about me and my mental health and just pointing me towards Jesus. And it honestly just changed my perspective. I think a lot of the times when Christians do talk about mental illness, it's kind of like, oh, and then my problems were solved, which isn't like a super, like it definitely, it's an illness, right? Like even if you are physically sick, if you have a cold or whatever, like there are ways to get around it or whatever, but it doesn't stop you from being sick again.
Yeah.
And so mental illness is like that. It's kind of a reoccurring thing that comes back. I had a pretty bad relapse this past fall that just happened. Nothing serious really happened, but just really, really struggling to like have the motivation really to do anything. And you know, you kind of fall back into your old habits and thought patterns. But this time I felt like I had a support system that I could fall on, and that I really could rely on God and the ways He had given me to be able to cope. Whether it be my friends, whether it be leading onto scripture. And so at this point, I'm doing fairly well right now. Winter is always hard. Just the weather changes and it fluctuates a lot up here. So like a lot of the weeks are just up, down, up, down, up, down.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know, you learn how to deal with it. And you know what, like I said, like I'll probably be on medication my entire life. This is something that's never going to go away. But I feel like as a Christian, I have something that not every person in the world with mental illness has, because I have the knowledge that I have a purpose and that I do have a God that's looking out for me and that loves me. And so I know that that really helps, and I want to be able to share that. It's not easy to talk about. I don't like talking about myself. It feels like I'm just complaining.
You're doing a great job.
But I never really had that growing up, and so I want, as a Christian, and I've been told by other Christians, like I've had Christians pray for me and then immediately after be like, yeah, well, I don't really believe in mental illness, which just felt really hypocritical. And and I just want to try and, you know, say that that's not right, and that mental illness is an illness, and that you can still have it as a Christian. Like I've also had people tell me, oh, you just don't believe in God enough. And it's like, well, there's a chemical imbalance in my brain. Like there's like, that's why there's medication for it, right? Like you wouldn't tell a cancer patient that like, oh, you're not trying hard enough to get better or things like that, because it is an illness. I read this one quote where it was, how come every organ in your body can get sick and get sympathy except your brain? And so, yeah, as a Christian, I just really want to reach out and,
Julisse, it's been awesome. Thank you for taking the time to share your story with us.
Oh.
That's a juicy one. Strong. I think
think it's stronger than it was before.
It's the same stuff.
And
Still
we're back.
slimy.
This brings us to the last segment of our show, which is question time. So we asked you guys to send us in questions, and we're going to go through them and answer them. This is the first episode. That's fair. We only had one username actually send us in questions, and he sent us quite a few, so we're not going to be able to work through all of them, but they're all very theological questions.
Yeah.
I won't give the name away, but it almost seems like someone who could have gone to a local Bible college for a number of years.
Maybe worked there for a bit.
Probably worked there for a while, and maybe started his own business or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's open her up. First question. Is there anything that is too much evil for Jesus to forgive? You want?
Yeah, I'll take
You'll
this
take
one.
this one.
No, there is nothing that you can do that Jesus can't forgive. And that comes Romans 8:31, 32, I think, somewhere around there. It says, nothing can separate you from the love of God. And we heard from Shalise earlier talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you can feel like you're in a trap, especially when you're struggling with mental health, and you can feel too far gone. And that's with any sin. You feel like you're too far gone from God, but there's nothing that can separate you from his love.
Yeah.
And nothing that you can do that he won't forgive.
Mm-hmm. Very, very well said. You know what? In the next couple days, we're going to send out some posts that are going to touch a little more on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But let's jump to the next question here. Who created God?
No one.
Nobody created
Next
God.
question.
That's all we need to say about that. Okay. Why do we talk about God's justice more than his love? Well, I guess the first question is, do we?
Yeah.
What do you think? Where do we spend more time focusing on, justice or love? I think this actually is pretty connected to the first question. Mm-hmm. Is anyone too far gone for Jesus to forgive them? It's really easy for us to talk about justice because we all long and desire and agree upon justice. Justice is good. We look at the brokenness of the world and be like, yeah, those wrongs should be made right. It's very easy for us to band together and talk about that. But when it comes to love, we all have very different experiences of being loved, of loving others, and what the definition of love is. That makes it hard to talk about, even hard to agree upon on the value and the significance of love. I think we all say that yes, love is positive and good, but how that plays out is we all have different stories and different ideas of what that looks like. And it can be difficult to talk about, but we're talking about it. Shalise is talking about it, and we'll be talking about it for the weeks to come. So stay tuned. That's all the questions for today.
That's the end of our show. See you next week.
Still working on that sign off. This has been Truth to Youth.